Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Sophia and I am a Vedic and galactic astrologer. On this sacred day of Kaal Bhairav Jayanti here in India, it is an extremely auspicious day for me to be making a video on Ketu. Because Ketu is literally the starting of the Zodiac. Because when the nakshatra system begins, it begins with Ashwini nakshatra in Aries. And Ashwini is ruled by Ketu. The Zodiac then resets again in Magha, which is in Leo. And then finally, one more time in Mola, which is in Sagittarius, and all these three nakshatras are ruled by Ketu. Ketu is the sacred fire that begins our existence. So, Ketu is a very, very important point in space. In 3D reality, it is represented by a black dog. And that is Kaal Bhairav's favorite animal. This black dog walks the earth as the master of detachment. We honor Ketu, the shadow planet that liberates us through surrender. So, today we are talking about the most powerful force in manifestation, leadership, and wealth creation. Because without applied astrology, none of existence will make a lot of sense. So what is Ketu really doing? Ketu is the keeper of our past lives. We've already mastered this energy in a previous one. We've come here to learn new things and form new karma. So Ketu's greatest message is detachment. And today we'll also understand how Ketu, the headless torso, in your chart holds the secret to everything that you've ever been chasing in life. So, want to learn some of the best secrets of Vedic astrology? If that's a yes, let's go ahead and begin. So first, let's talk about the paradox that literally changes everything. Here's what most people don't understand about success. The tighter you grip it, the less you receive it. We've been taught to hustle, to chase, to control every outcome. But there's an intelligence in the universe that operates beyond our clever minds. And it responds to one thing above all else. It is your ability to let go. This isn't spiritual bypassing. I want to be very clear about that. This is quantum physics meeting ancient wisdom, meeting neuroscience, and I'll explain in a bit. And at the center of it all sits Ketu, a cosmic force that already mastered what you desperately are trying to achieve here. So what is the ultimate truth about Ketu? Ketu is not here to take from you, because detachment sounds quite forceful. In fact, Ketu is here to show you that you never needed this in the first place because you already have it. Ketu and Kaal Bhairav's energy is one of silence. And this is not silence that is experienced just before bedtime or in simple meditation. This is the kind of silence that screams. Because silence is never empty. When you truly experience silence, you will understand that when you empty your mind and your physical experience, the universe rushes to fill that void. And all of the universe's secrets are then revealed to you. So Ketu then teaches us that every attachment is a prison. every release is a liberation, and every surrender can turn into victory, and we'll see how. Some of the greatest leaders in history don't clutch power. They steward it and pass it on. The wealthiest people don't hoard money. They understand that circulating it will watch it multiply. The most fulfilled humans don't actually chase happiness. They detach from outcomes and find joy in the process. This is Ketu's teaching, and this is your birthright. Like I said, you've already mastered this. You came here with mastery. You came here already whole. You came here to remember that the thing you were searching for outside of yourself has always been within you all along. So Ketu's placement in your chart is like getting a doctorate or a PhD in existence. So you need to stop acting in that area of life like a freshman. Let's talk about the signs of surrender and your brain for a moment. Your prefrontal cortex, the beautiful executive function center behind your forehead, is designed for planning, decision-making, and conscious thought. When you meditate, when you practice detachment, something miraculous happens. This region starts to thicken because blood flow increases there. So studies show that experienced meditators develop the ability to uncouple brain regions that normally communicate during stressful times. What is the translation here? Detachment isn't actually weakness. It's neurological evolution. And here's where things get really interesting. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect. The act of observation, the act of needing to know, to control, to collapse the wave function into one specific outcome. And this fundamentally changes what's possible. So when you're attached to a specific outcome, you're limiting infinite possibilities to one narrow probability. When you detach, you allow the universe to reorganize matter, add energy in ways your limited brain never imagined. So the moment you stop collapsing the wave function with your desperate need to grab onto something, reality has the chance to surprise you. So, let's understand the leadership secret they don't teach you in business school. Here's what separates good leaders from transformational ones: the ability to not be right. Attachment to outcomes, to being the smartest person in the room, to your ideas being chosen, is the death of innovation and the birth of ego-driven disasters. The greatest leaders in history that I've studied all have one thing in common. They hold their visions powerfully while remaining unattached to exactly how these visions manifest. The how is given away, and they get out of their own way. So this is Ketu's gift. When you stop micromanaging the universe, you create space for miracles that you couldn't have planned. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life probably came when you finally let go. But what exactly are we talking about? This is a manifestation code no one talks about. Yes, you visualize. Yes, you affirm. Yes, you align your energy. All of that is great. But then comes the part that everyone skips. You need to completely let go. You need to believe that you've already achieved this because, quite honestly, you have. Ketu's energy belongs to past lives. This is something I understand we cannot see, but it is where you are most powerful if you just allow it to do its own work. It wants to be left alone. So, suddenly you're no longer chasing in that area. You're magnetic and you're magnetized yourself. So let's go ahead and understand Ketu by house and sign. The first house is generally correlated with the first sign, which belongs to Aries. So, mastery here, you already understand yourself. Self-knowledge. You came in with the understanding of who you are at your core. You might seem distant, uninterested in your own image. You might struggle with self-promotion. Others don't get you because you're not performing identity, because you are identity. Your liberation here is to stop trying to craft a persona. Get away from superficiality. Your authenticity is your superpower, and truths, which is the core of you, will cut hard both ways for you and other people. You lead by simply being. You're enough. You don't need to prove anything. Your detachment from needing recognition actually makes you unforgettable. How do you get wealth? Because we want to talk about wealth and leadership in this video. So money comes from you stop hustling for validation and start operating from your authentic frequency. You don't need a personal brand. You need to embody truth so completely that people are magnetized by the level of detachment you embody. You simply don't care. Do you know who has this prominent in their chart? It is Prince William. He is enough. He simply is. He doesn't need to prove anything, does he? He just exists and things follow. Now, Ketu in your second house or in Taurus. What is the mastery here? You already mastered resource management and self-worth in past lives. Money and value are familiar territory. You understand your strengths. Taurus is a sign of strength. It's the sign of the bull. The trap here is you might feel strangely detached from wealth accumulation or undercharge your customers for your services. That can be a problem. Material security doesn't motivate you all the way as it does other people. What is your liberation? Your gift is teaching others that worth isn't determined by money. You charge what you're worth, not to accumulate, but to honor the value exchange. Your detachment from money is precisely what makes you wealthy in ways that matter. The wealth principle here is the moment you stop needing money to feel safe is the moment it flows effortlessly. Build systems, then forget about them. This is a classic combination for passive incomes. You just want to plant seeds and then walk away and watch the garden grow. And let me tell you this, when Ketu decides to deliver its gifts, there's no other point in space or planet or shadow planet that can give you this amount of wealth. That is something to remember. So detach really quickly and watch the magic happen. Ketu in the third house or the sign of Gemini. Your mastery here is that you already are excellent at communication, networking, and skill acquisition. You're a natural teacher or messenger. The trap for you would be you might find social media exhausting. You might find small talk draining and constant communication overwhelming. While Rahu is in the ninth, it's seeking higher knowledge. You already know how to transmit wisdom. So go towards the wisdom, not small talk. Your liberation here would be to harness the power of silence, because Gemini is all about speech, constant gossip. You don't need to prove your intelligence. If you speak less, you will have more impact. How do you generate wealth? Your wealth comes from teaching what you already know effortlessly, not through hustling for attention. create once and you leverage forever. This is also a placement for passive income. Your detachment for needing to be heard makes people listen even harder. So leverage that. Now, Ketu in the 4th house or the sign of Cancer. Your mastery here is emotional depth and family bonds. Home and roots are sort of old territory for you. The trap for you might feel like you're a stranger within your own family. You can be detached from your roots or uninterested in domestic life. The comfort zone sort of feels suffocating, so you're constantly chasing something new, something foreign. Your gift is creating home within yourself. You teach others that belonging isn't found in bloodlines. In fact, it is found in coming home to your soul. What makes you happy? Your emotional independence is your foundation. That doesn't mean you detach from everybody you love. No. But it just means that you stop needing validation from anybody else to feel loved. How to build wealth, real estate, property, and stability come when you stop needing external security. It's a little weird because your emotions are directly connected to 3D material things, which most people don't sort of relate together, but they are tightly connected with this placement. So build an internal fortress first. Be so secure that the outside world manifests effortlessly for you. Wealth flows from emotional sovereignty. Remember that one. Now, Ketu in the 5th house or in the sign of Leo. You already mastered creativity. You are a natural romantic. And you have no problems with self-expression. Art and love are your native language. But the trap for you here, you might feel bored by dating. And really unimpressed by people's shallow needs in relationships. You might be unimpressed by creative pursuits as well, or detached from your children emotionally. What others chase, which is applause, recognition, or superficial romance, you just don't care about that. You want depth that cannot be matched by anyone on this planet Earth. You want romance and love that is otherworldly. So your liberation here is art doesn't need an audience to be validated. Your love doesn't need reciprocation to be real. And you create art for the sake of creation. You love for the sake of loving. Your detachment comes from making your work timeless. So, money, your creative genius, monetizes when you stop creating for applause and start seeking truth instead within your creation. Why do you want it? What's the why behind it? Is it just money? Then you're probably going in the wrong direction. But if it brings you joy and something you want to share with the world effortlessly, then money will return to you tenfold. Next, we've got Ketu in the 6th house or in the sign of Virgo. Your mastery here is service, healing, and overcoming obstacles. You work hard. That comes naturally to you. Work and problem solving are second nature, really. You might feel unmotivated by challenges, bored by routine work, or detached from health optimization even. The grind that everyone else is on doesn't really excite you very much. Or what might happen is, if you have a lot of conjunctions in the 6th house, like you might have obsessive overworking tendencies as well. Your power is in effortless service. You solve problems so naturally, you don't realize you're doing it. Your detachment from recognition makes you the quiet hero. Stop trying to prove your worth through proving anything, really. You've done this, right? You don't need to prove your worth through internal suffering or by external suffering. You become invaluable when you stop working hard and start working smart. Your ease intimidates others. Charge for your natural genius, not for your hours. Delegation is the path to your wealth. Do you know who else has this placement? It is Kate Middleton. She's one of the most hardworking people within the royal family, but she knows how to delegate. Ketu in the 7th house or in the sign of Libra. Now you already mastered partnership and diplomacy. Relationships are familiar terrain here, maybe a bit too familiar. The trap for you might be you might feel detached in relationships, uninterested in marriage, or struggle to merge with other people. Empathy is something that is required here. But you complete yourself so thoroughly that partnerships feel unnecessary. Your liberation is your wholeness, is your gift in relationships. You don't actually need anyone, which paradoxically makes you the best partner. Teach others that love is overflow, not need. Your independence creates interdependence, which is something everyone needs. Business partnerships and collaborations thrive when you stop needing them to complete you. So do not depend on it. Build independent. You attract aligned partners because you're already whole. Your detachment from merger makes merger possible. That's when money comes in. Ketu in the 8th house of Scorpio. You already mastered transformation, death, rebirth, and the occult. You've seen behind the veil many times. It's very possible in previous lifetimes you were a practicing occultist or astrologer. You might feel detached from intensity, bored by surface level transformation, or unimpressed by dark night of the soul experiences. What traumatizes other people barely registers in your subconscious mind. Your power is in accepting impermanence. You know that everything dies, everything transforms, and nothing is solid. This makes you unbreakable. You're the guide through hell because you're no longer afraid of it. So, inheritance, investments, and other people's resources flow to you when you stop clutching for it. Let money transform through you, not to you. Your detachment from security creates the ultimate security. Now, Ketu in the 9th house or Sagittarius. You already mastered philosophy, spirituality, and higher knowledge. You came in enlightened or bloody down close. The trap for you would be you might feel detached from organized religion, bored by philosophy, or unimpressed by guru figures. The seeking that everyone else is doing feels kind of redundant to you. But one of the best things that happens to you with this placement is unrelenting travel. You would absolutely love it. You don't actually need to find God. You need to be God realized and live it. It could give you a God complex, so I'd be careful of that one. But your detachment from spiritual ego makes you truly spiritual. You teach through living and not preaching. How does money flow? You could be great at publishing your knowledge, teaching other people, and globally reaching come when you stop trying to be wise and simply share what you know. Your wisdom monetizes through authenticity, not authority. Speak your truth and detach who receives it. Ketu in the 10th, or the sign of Capricorn. Your mastery here is career success and public recognition. You've been the boss many, many times over in many lifetimes. The trap for you would be you might feel detached from ambition, or unimpressed by titles, or bored by traditional success metrics. Climbing ladders feels pointless, so a lot of non-traditional careers are seen with this placement. Your leadership is rather effortless because you're not trying to lead. You are embodying leadership. Your detachment from power makes you powerful because people automatically see you that way. You don't have to prove anything. You can build legacies and not simply empires. These legacies will outlive you 1,000 lifetimes over. This is impact over image. You attract massive success and monetary wealth by not needing it. Detachment from status makes people trust you with responsibility. So don't chase it and people will come. You lead from the back ends. You build systems that outlive you. Your indifference to create credit for yourself leads to endless opportunity. We are nearing the close, so Ketu in the 11th house or the sign of Aquarius. What did you master here? Because Ketu is in its contrasting placement. You already mastered networks, community building, and collective consciousness. Social impact is your native state. You might feel detached from friend groups, bored by networking events, or unimpressed by social causes that other people are so championing so hard. Community feels rather draining to you. It doesn't energize you. You could be highly introverted. Your gift is showing people that true belonging comes from within. You don't need a tribe, which makes you a natural leader of tribes. Can you imagine that? You're the outcast that everybody wants. Your independence inspires collective evolution. Massive wealth comes through networks when you stop needing that network. Instead, start serving them. Just keep giving and it'll come back. Your authenticity attracts aligned community. You build platforms, then step back. Your detachment from recognition makes you the hub everyone orbits because you've got information that they can't even comprehend. So this is a supercharged placement, really, because Rahu is the one that naturally thrives in the 11th house or in Aquarius. But did you know that when Ketu sits in it, it's monetary wealth that is beyond comprehension, actually? Because once you start serving the masses, what happens? Every single business literally, serves the masses. Otherwise, how would they get money? So don't underestimate this placement. Ketu in your 12th house or Pisces. You already mastered spirituality, surrender, and the dissolution of ego. This is your last lifetime on planet Earth, and thank goodness, good riddance. How many times would you want to be born in this density? Not many, I don't imagine. You're an old soul who's completed many cycles, right? So you want to be done. You want to go to higher dimensions. You may feel detached from physical reality. You may struggle with boundaries or escape into fantasy when things get too dense, too real. The material world feels rather foreign or harsh to you. Your power is in being the bridge between worlds. You've already transcended, right? Now you return to help others do the same. You're a guru in embodiment. There is no telling how many lifetimes you've already lived here on Earth and understood the intricacies of being human. Your detachment from this reality makes you a perfect guide for other people seeking liberation. So, wealth comes in through healing, through artwork, through spirituality, and working behind the scenes, really. And this is going to be weird when I say it, but your invisibility is your asset. Okay? Because you can create mystical offerings, price them high, and detach from who can afford. And the right people will always find you. Do you know what else this reminds me of? Of the singularity within the black hole. We know black holes exist. We know they're invisible. We can't see the singularity. And yet, every scientist on this planet is chasing it relentlessly. Be the singularity. All right? Now, I want to end this video with a sort of manifestation code, right? I want you to locate where Ketu is placed by house and by sign. I want you to see both because they will be different. Or they might be the same. Depends on what chart you have. In there is where you have clarity. Okay? All you need to do is practice a bit of silence, and that clarity will come to you rushing 10 times over. Then, when you find that clarity, I want you to combine it with action, because that is where your wealth potential lies. And finally, I want you to combine it with ultimate detachment, knowing that this has come from a past life and you have absolutely no business meddling with outcomes. Detach, detach, detach. And this will equal inevitable success. So, if you can practice this mantra in your life, there is no stopping you. So I really genuinely hope you enjoyed this podcast. Okay, and on this day of Kaal Bhairav Jayanti, as the black dog walks the planet, embodying protection through detachment, I invite you to release one attachment today. Just one. The energy is super high for you to be able to do that. So go ahead, release that attachment from outcome, and watch magic happen. I am Sophia, and I will bring a lot more videos in the future. So stay tuned for those. Bye for now.